Hi everyone, it's me, Lubna. Today is Friday, November 11th, 2022. Happy Friday. I just got home from school. This morning I had a mandatory class session for my Introduction to Clinical Medicine course. And for that course, every Friday we have a patient case presentation where we have to take notes on a patient case that is presented to us, and then we have to go home and write a note about it. So this is something that is going to take a lot of practice for me to get better and better at. I remember when I first started doing it, I was so confused and I was so slow because when I take notes and I try to write things down, I try to make it very beautiful and perfect. So this is just training me to kind of get rid of that perfection. And just like anything else, it takes practice to get better, right? Yeah, so I wanted to make this video for today right now, earlier, because usually I make my videos in the evening like I did for the previous days, but today's video is earlier because I'm going to be a little more busy in the evening and afternoon since I have to study for an exam that I have on Monday. And it's going to be a pathology exam. It's our first pathology exam of the winter quarter, so it's it's hard. That's the hardest class I've ever taken in my life. So I'm gonna have to put a lot of work into that. But I'll still be sure to maybe make a little, or not maybe, for sure, I'll make a video tomorrow and Sunday to document those days as well. But they'll probably be a little shorter, but we'll see. Today, I wanted to share something about my artwork. So this is my sketchbook. And I've had this sketchbook since the start of medical school. I just bought it at Target, and then I just felt like making art sometimes since that's my side hobby and it's another one of my passions, and I think it's important to make time for one's passions. So I'm just going to share the very first drawing that I have in this sketchbook. It's a drawing of a rose, and this rose is based on a picture that I took back in Anaheim, where I'm from. So I live in a very beautiful neighborhood and beautiful community in Anaheim, California. And I used to go on walks every day. During COVID in 2020, I was working, or not during COVID, I think the year after COVID started, so that was 2021. I was working as a contact tracer for COVID-19 patients, and so I would be working from home all day, and I would call patients who had COVID or have COVID and ask them for their symptoms and everything like they were experiencing, and if they had any sick contacts, so that we could trace and control the spread of COVID in my area. I think I was assigned San Bernardino County and Pasadena for that. And so, yeah, that was what I did during that year before I started medical school. And every day after work, we always finished at 5 p.m. And after work, I would walk out into my neighborhood, and I would go for a walk and take pictures of all the flowers and just try to, that was my art, my outlet, since after a full day of working, we need to do something that feeds our soul. So that's what was feeding my soul. And I would listen to music, and sometimes I would sit on a bench and read a book outside as well. I have grown up as an only child. I don't have any siblings, so I never had people to play with or talk to. I mean, my parents were there, but they were not, they were very busy people too. My mom is a doctor and my dad is an engineer. So I had to find ways growing up how to keep myself entertained and in a way that is productive to me. I learned about the value of art and creative things like writing and journaling and all of those things that I feel sometimes might be considered boring by some people, but to me, it brings me a lot of joy. So yeah, I would go on those walks, and and this is my drawing I already showed you, and I'm very proud of it. But sometimes I feel like in in school, while I'm in school, I don't really have time to do the things I enjoy doing, but I'm trying to make it a non-negotiable part of my daily routine so that I always set aside an hour each day to do what I'm very passionate about, like what I love. And even like in little cracks and little moments of time during the day where I have free time, like right before a lecture, if I have time and they're not lecturing, they didn't start the lecture yet, I'll just get my journal out and journal a little bit and try to be productive in a way that is that feeds my soul. And when I look at this drawing that I made of this rose, it brings back a lot of emotions, and it reminds me of that day. I still remember that day where I saw that rose. It was so beautiful, and it was the sun. Since it was after 5 p.m. over the summer, the sunlight was shining from behind the rose, and it gave this beautiful glow. And it just, I can't really explain why. Like, beauty is such an unexplainable thing. It's just something that you have to see and experience in order to know what it is. And that was my just one little experience of beauty among millions and thousands and all of the daily experiences of beauty that I have and I have witnessed throughout my life. So yeah, that's all I wanted to share for today. I really have to go and study for my exam after this, but I'm glad that I could take a moment to connect here with you and show you the importance of taking a moment out of one's day to do something beautiful. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful day, evening, afternoon, whatever it is, wherever you are in the world.